Carissimi amici, benvenuti in cucina. My dear friends, welcome to my kitchen. Today, we're going to make Cotechino with braised lentils, an Italian specialty rarely shared with the public before, Lobster Fra Diavolo, a fantastic Italian dish. And we're going to finish with Marinated Strawberries with Zabaglione, delicious and beautiful. And let me share with you my favorite story about the Italian tradition for the New Year's Eve dinner. Come for the recipes. Stay for the stories. What is the cenone? C-E-N-O-N-E. Cenone is a specific definition of what us Italians refer to as the last dinner for the year. Usually it's done on the 31st of December, and it is done indeed to welcome the new year. And there's an enormous amount of symbolism that is put behind many of the dishes. I think also that cenone is, first and foremost, an opportunity for all of us to share this great, wonderful moment at the end of the year and reciting out aloud the hopes and the wishes that we had for the new one. At least that was a tradition in our family. And by reciting it out loud, my father said, if you can recite it, if you can say it, then you can envision it. If you can envision it, you can chase it, you can make it your own. We're going to make lentils with cotechino. What is cotechino? Cotechino is a special Italian sausage that is commonly made on New Year's Eve. This is a dish that's done on the 31st of December, right at midnight, as the year changes. It's very simple, it's full of flavor, and if you do it right, it will bring you good luck. Let me show you how to make it. In the pan, we have some extra virgin olive oil that we got nice and hot over some medium heat. And now to this, we add our mirepoix. Our mirepoix is very important because you heard me say this many, many times before. This is at the base of everything which is highly formalized in our cuisine, and it creates a continuation of flavors which is awesome. What we have in here is celery, onion, carrots, and I also put some of the celery leaves. The celery leaves have a certain importance to me, especially if you're lucky enough to find them in the celery that you buy fresh at your store. They have a flavor of their own, which is truly seductive, if I can say so myself. As the mirepoix is cooking, I like to add some garlic. In this particular case, I like to add chopped garlic. And the reason why I like to add it chopped is because I don't want the garlic to show too much all throughout. I want it to give its flavor, its enhancement, but I don't want to add large pieces of garlic in this. I want for the cotechino to be the star. Also, at this point, I add a little bit of salt. Only salt. Remember, inside the cotechino, there is enormous amount of flavors. Fennel, thyme, the pork itself, salt and pepper in abundance, and the cotechino leaks a lot of this into this. If we make something like this, the base of our lentils, too salty, the dish will not be pleasant. The strain. Now, why do I do this? Why am I moving so fast around in the pan? The pan right now, even though it's only on medium heat, because it's a copper pan, it's really furiously cooking. And by doing this technique, by using this spatula and moving everything around, I prevent for anything to stick at the bottom of it. And that's quite important. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to add our lentils. And you can use any kind of lentils you want. And there are many varieties out there, all of them excellent. I like to stir the lentils around for just a couple of minutes. Why? I don't know. I think that when you toast the lentils a little bit, they have even a better flavor. And look what a completion of gorgeous colors that this is. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to add twice the volume of liquid. In this case, I'm using chicken stock. Why? Chicken stock has the presence and the substance of a great stock. and also is something that gets along with everybody. What I want to do at this point is to bring this to a strong boil. Once it reaches a boil, we're going to place the cotechino in. Now, mind you, the cotechino, which I have here in my hand, is nicely tied up. You do not want to take out the cover nor the rope. It's keeping it together. As it starts cooking, it will expand, and this will give it a shape. We will be able to get rid of all of this afterwards once we are done. So it's nice and hot right now. Let's add the cotechino. What we want to do at this point is to bring this down to a simmer and cover this. We do not want any of the liquid to escape. And you're gonna let this go untouched without stirring for the next 40 minutes. The cotechino has been cooking for the last 45 minutes. It's been simmering all the way through. I am convinced it's completely done. Let's take a look at it. Oh, mamma mia, che bellezza. This is gorgeous. It's ready. The last thing I want to do is we're going to turn off the heat altogether. And then I'm going to take the cotechino, because what I want to do is take the rope off of the cotechino and cut it into slices. Now, the lentils are perfect. They are ready exactly the way we want to have it. The cotechino is ready. Now, let me show you how to plate it. I remember when my grandma brought me the lentils. I said, "Grandma, this is easy. I love lentils." She said, "You're gonna love them even more." Every once in a while, I get letters from my fans that tell me that I make portions that are only for skinny people like me. Trust me, if you can finish this portion, I want to know you by first name, because it's a lot of meat in there, and the flavors are fantastic. And I hope that when you try for yourself at home, for your family, just like me, you will enjoy the fortune this wonderful combination between lentils and cotechino can bring to all of us in our life, in our future, in our destiny. And this is how you make cotechino with lentils. This turned out to be something very dangerous for my father. He did not figure it out this way. I remember I was 16 years old when we had the last cenone together. Yeah, and I said, I want to go where the oceans are always full of fishes and the streets are paved with gold. I want to go to America. I want to get my education in America. I want to become an American. I want to immigrate to America. We all drank today. We all laughed. Truth was, it sounded like the wishful thinking of a 16-year-old that doesn't know any better. Unbeknownst to my dad, through a series of circumstances which were far bigger than anything I was able to organize, scheme, and take advantage of on my own, an opportunity basically fell on my lap just about June of the following year, which ultimately coexisted into this series of moments and articulation that brought me here to America. I don't think my father was aware of the fact that this voicing your wishes at the end of the year for what the future is to bring you, the powerful enchantment that it does have on the destiny of man. Lobster Fra Diavolo is a great recipe that most of us only have at the restaurant. Instead, what I did, I turned it into something which is very simple to put together, with steps as simple as 1, 2, 3, and the taste, the flavor, it will conquer your heart and your soul. Let me show you how to make it. Lobster in Italian is aragosta. Today, I want to show you two significant things. One is how to actually cut the tails open, how to take the meat out, and how to use the shells. Now, what I like is to have a nice, strong, heavy chef knife, and I start at the top, and the reason why I do it here is because here is the softer part of the lobster. Let's do it with another one. We have all of our lobster cut in half. And the one thing that I want to do is take out the meat first. Be gentle. And the next thing that I want to do is cut up the meat of the lobster that we will add at the end once the sauce is ready. And the next thing that I want to do is place the shells in the cheesecloth. I just want them to give the juice of the ocean to the sauce. I like to fold them twice over, and I give him a knot by using the cloth and a second knot with a string. All the lobster prep, it's done. Now, it's time to make the sauce. Let me show you how. In the pan, we put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. To this olive oil, we are going to add the very beginning of this recipe, which is the garlic. The garlic is nice and abundant. Why is the name of the recipe Fra Diavolo? What is Fra Diavolo? The word fra in Italian, when it's shortened like that, means father, brother, but referring to somebody in the religious circle. Fra in Diavolo means devil, so it would be my brother the devil. In itself, in English, really doesn't make a lot of sense, but it does give the idea of what this pasta is all about. Now you might be wondering, why am I stirring the garlic? I'm doing this because I don't want it to be still. I have it on medium heat. This is a copper pan that flies, and by doing so, I maintain control over it, and by using the spatula, nothing will stick to it. But let's go back to what I was saying about the Fra Diavolo. Diavolo as devil gives the indication of something spicy, but how spicy is spicy? Well, even when I make it for my wife, I'm allowed to put a little bit of red pepper flakes. My wife is not here. Now, this is a real Diavolo version of this particular dish. Why? This red pepper flake is going to put out an enormous amount of heat. The next thing that I'm going to do is the adding of the chopped onions. So there are a school of thoughts as to how the onions should be chopped. To me, the thinner, the better. Why? This is personal. It is not something that I would declare as a must-do, because my way is a better way. I have a beautiful selection of knives, and whatever time I spend with my knives makes me happy. Do you remember when I took those beautiful lobster shells and I put it into the cheesecloth? Now, the idea that we have in here is to basically brown the lobster shells together with all the ingredients that we have in there. And as they do that, we want to push down and extract as much of the juice as we can. So this crackling that we're doing is forcing the juice to come out. Later on, we will dispose of this, we'll take it out. But at this point, for these shells to be completed, to be part of an operation that is so fantastic that the shells will want to actually stay there as if it was a resort area, we need to put liquid gold. And to me, liquid gold is wine. What we have in here is white wine. You can use any kind of wine that you want. Chardonnay makes a fantastic wine in this edition. In this particular case, I use Sauvignon Blanc because I find the Sauvignon Blanc with most fishes, even shellfish like this, does a fantastic job. Let's go on with the other things that we need to add at this point. What I like to add is chopped tomato. These are chopped tomatoes that we have strained of their juices, but we kept the juices with us. At this point, what we want is for all of this to come together. What you want to do here is to bring everything to a boil. What's going to happen during the time that we boil? The wine will reduce, giving up is alcohol and reducing in there and bringing out the flavor of everything that's in here. As you can see, I keep smashing down on the shells, and the reason why I like to do that is because by doing so, I am forcing this flavor to be there. I have no fear that the shells will spill out of the cheesecloth and ruin the sauce. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing it like this. And by doing it like this, we preserve several spots. The one that's the most important for us is the one that we really want, and that is giving this sauce its due. But the due doesn't come until the water from the tomatoes joins the party. Why is that? Let's add this and let's talk about it for a moment. The water that we're using comes from a type of tomato known as San Marzano. And what I've done, I strained the San Marzano, chopped it very fine, and as you've seen, I kept the pulp on one side that I've added already. I just added the water. Now at this point, we are noticing that all of these flavors are really coming together. The tomato sauce is cooking just right. Here we have it. I'm gonna bring this to a boil and then I'm gonna let it simmer for a few moments. The shells have now marinated for quite some time. It's time for us to get rid of the shells because most of the flavor has gone in there. I'm gonna put them away. And the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to add the lobster. If you remember, we had diced the lobster. Before I put it in, I just put a little bit of flavor. It's my mix: onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper, paprika, all in equal portions. And now I'm going to take advantage of the sauce cooking the lobster. And as soon as the lobster cooks all the way through, it will make like a wonderful ragu-like finish. We're going to be adding the pasta to it. Pretty much getting exactly where you want to be. The next thing that we need to do is to add to this the last infusion of flavor, which comes in the form of parsley. Parsley is a must-do for everything that is fish involved, especially shellfish. The sauce is ready for our pasta. Let's go and place the pasta in there. Now, one of the things that I like to do is known as il condimento della pasta. This crackling that you hear around me is some of the water that has dropped on the hot stove. And it's making this beautiful sound. To me, this sound is fantastic because it means that the pasta is just about ready to come and be served, plated, and I get to eat it. Eating this pasta is the best part of my day. Now, the uniqueness that you see about the shape of the pasta is this rolled up finish that the pasta does have, this casarecce that makes it so interesting. And it captured the sauces on each one of its folds. If you never had this before, look into it. This is a unique cut, mostly found only in Italian delis, not that commonly found at supermarkets. One last thing that I like to do at this point is the addition of butter. Butter is the end of the condimento. Condimento is the Italian verb that it's assigned to the making of a marriage between the pasta and the sauce. People say, what's it mean, a marriage between the pasta and the sauce? I say, the pasta and the sauce, to be happy, they gotta dance together. And this is how you make it happen. Now, I have saved my other parsley because I don't like to add the fresh parsley on top of the pasta and bring it out. Rather, I'd like to do this, and I like to fold this in. And as it folds in, the flavor of it, of these fresh herbs, imbues the pasta with one more bit of flavor. Oh, mamma mia, che bellezza. I'm sorry, that is the voice of a very hungry Nick Stellino. The pasta Fra Diavolo is now ready. Let me show you how to plate it. They say that pasta is just a food type. To me, pasta is a time machine. And the reason why I love it so much is because it brings a whole family closer together, it brings friends closer together. And as you stand there and you watch people sitting at your dinner table, eating your food, smiling, laughing, telling stories, you know, at the very moment, the most important thing in life is not cash in the bank. It's to be recognized by the people that try your food and to see the joy that you put into this dish translated in their smiles. And this, my friends, is how you make pasta fra diavolo. Every time I think of the cenone, I'm very specific in mentioning exactly what it is that I want. And I must say, happily, for all the years that I made wishes, I never did ask for money. I've always asked for a project to come my way, to obtain certain specific achievements in my business, and they all came my way. The only thing that I didn't ask for on the wishes of year end was to find love. Love walked into my life by mistake. And the reason why I kept it is because I could cook like this. Marinated strawberries with zabaglione. Zabaglione is an egg-based dessert. Very simple to make, but it requires a specific technique. And I'll show you step by step on how to make the perfect zabaglione. Come on, let me show you how to make it. Marinating strawberries is a very difficult operation. As a matter of fact, there are some people that go to school to get this specialty, and it takes about 3 to 4... Forgive me. I always like to do this, especially when I teach a class, just to make people scared. It's the simplest thing there is. Actually, this is one of the first things that both me and my brother Mario used to do in the kitchen with my mom when she used to make this dessert. It's very simple. The most difficult part really is to cut them in small dice, and I would not suggest that you have small children using a very sharp knife making this. My mom didn't. It took a while before she taught us how to actually do and cut the perfect dice for this dessert. But the marination itself, it's simple and it's fun. The ingredients are only 2, and let me show you what they are. The first one is sugar, and what the sugar does at this point, it will penetrate inside the strawberries, and as you can see, I'm quite excessive with it. Why? Because I like the original tartness that the strawberries have with the natural sweetness to mix with this sugar, refined sugar as it is. But together with the sugar, we're gonna put a little bit of marsala. If you don't like marsala, you can do sherry. If you don't like sherry, you can do brandy, but marsala, to me, is the best that there is. And at this point, all that you want to do is simply let these marinate for about 15 to 20 minutes. This is designed specifically restaurant style for the making of zabaglione. So we have simmering water at the bottom. This is sitting on top. Simmering is the part that you really do want to memorize in this process. If you have boiling water from underneath, steaming all the way through, you're gonna make scrambled eggs. Simmering is where you want to be at. So first thing we're gonna do is put egg yolks, only egg yolks, no egg white. To the egg yolks, we're gonna add a little bit of marsala. Also like a little bit of cream. And quite a bit of sugar. I would say for each egg that you use, a tablespoon. So if it's 4 eggs, 4 tablespoons, if it's 3 eggs, 3, and so forth and so on. Now the best part comes now. Always have something to protect your hand, because the thing with copper is that it transmits heat overly efficiently. The idea here, as we're doing this, is to pump air into the eggs. And basically, it's as if we're making scrambled eggs and we're taking advantage of the fact that we add the other liquids that we added to make sure that the eggs will not become super thick right away or become scrambled. But if we were not doing this with the whisk, the biggest problem that we would have is that the eggs would basically sit at the bottom part of it would be fully cooked, omelette-like, and the top part instead would be creamy. What we want to have is a texture that's frothy like this and very, very creamy. The idea that I want to give you is this gives you the ability to move in and out of the pan, and you control the heat by moving it away altogether or by putting it back in. Now, the texture is what we afford, and it's going to take anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes for us to get there. The zabaglione is ready. Look at this wonderful texture, the softness that it is. This is exactly what we're looking for. And this is the point in which you no longer want to rest it on top of the hot water or near heat. You just want to give it a few more whisks to incorporate as much as air as you can. And now, let me show you how to plate it. So I want you to look at this for the magnificence that it is. With every bite that you take, you're gonna dig the strawberries underneath. And then there is the zabaglione cream. This is a dessert that has an enormous amount of sophistication. Not so much on the technique, because there you'll master quite quickly. One of the things I like to do is put a little bit of strawberries on top, just like this, because there's a promise of what's underneath. The combination of all these flavors, especially for a young kid like me, look at this. I'm in my 60s, I still call myself a young kid, but you know what? I feel like I'm a child every time I look at this. And this is how you make strawberries marinated with zabaglione on top. So, as far as I'm concerned, To all the boys and girls who are watching me right now, if you want to find love, if you want to keep love, you need to learn how to cook. When you can cook pasta like I do, the world opens up to a series of possibilities. And remember this, on the last day of the year, throw out a big party. Even if it's just for the two of you, doesn't matter. Throw a big party, and when midnight comes, stand there out from the crowd and recite aloud what your wishes are for the future. And I do believe that the universe responds to us. But everything is connected to food. If you learn to cook with your hands and put your passion in it and recite aloud for the cenone di Capodanno, the wishes for the future, who knows? Maybe you, just like me, will find your dreams come true.
Ah, it's like a well-oiled machine, man.
Let's roll, man.
I love it. Will you butt back in the chair?
Any further back than this, I'm gonna knock the chair out.
Okay.
I think this chair and my butt having a war.
No slouching.
Let's relax a little bit.
Let's relax, yeah, just get some. Yeah, give me like a, hey.